I used to think that life was all about working 24/7, becoming a millionaire by 20 years old, and building this big ass business, right? But lately I've realized that this is all just BS. And life is actually extremely simple if you want it to be. And in this video, I want to prove that to you. I've been on this journey now for like 6, 7 years. I'm 25 now. And I started around 18 when I had my first like ecom brand, and I sold like at-home fitness equipment and stuff like this. For some reason, I had a very complex view of business and life in general. And I'm not sure about you, but I always thought that you had to have a super big, complicated life in order to, be successful in a sense. Because I would look at adults, right? Like back then, I don't know, I was like 18, 16. I would look at adults and they would, I don't know, they would live this super complicated life, supposedly, right? And they'd have so many responsibilities and so many things to deal with, and so many things that I didn't understand back then. And now, basically, I'm realizing that, to be honest, if you want it to be, it's actually not that complicated. I think for the most part, it's just us that make it complicated to begin with. Because I used to think that you need to have like a big, complex business, but it is not true, right? I thought you had to work 24/7 in order to be successful. No, you don't. I thought you had to have everything 100% figured out. You're already making millions by 21 years old. No, you don't. And that's what I thought was the most important thing in life in total. But now I realize that this is absolutely not true. The way I look at it now is that life can be extremely simple, and if you have like the main things figured out, then there's no need to rush things, right? If you have a solid income, right, that you can live from every month, which means that I don't know what you do or personally what I have to do, it's not that complicated, right? You do a job, you get income, right? Whatever that job is, I don't think it matters that much in the grand scope of things, right? Whatever you have to do to, get around, make a living, I think that's completely respectable. Obviously, that is within the constraints of the law, not just the law of the country that you're in, but within the law of God, right? But if you have that income, if you make sure your taxes are done, which is not that complicated, to be honest with you, it's really not that complicated. People just they overcomplicate things way too much. You have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, you have a warm bed to sleep in, maybe you have family, friends, a wife or girlfriend. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying that you should be satisfied with these things, but if you have these things, you're blessed, bro. You're absolutely blessed. And there's no need to feel overwhelmed. There's no need to like stress that much. And I don't know how to explain this to you, but there's no need, right? Especially like from the last couple of years, I've realized that most of the things that you tend to stress about and be like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, etc., etc. Everything always turns out okay. God always has our back. He always takes care of us. Obviously, you work hard, but He is with you. He's guiding you. And when you have those things, then you don't have to panic. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to stress. Just calm down, right? Literally, you have everything and more to achieve anything that you want out of life. When you have these things, right? It doesn't even have to be much, right? You don't need to be making 10K, 20K per month before you can like start to calm down, right? You don't need to have a huge business, right? You don't need to be working 24/7. You don't have to, right? I think this is just like this stupid image that's been put in our minds, and it's just not true, right? It's just not true. When you have these things, and aside from that, you're able to put some time into your hobbies, your goals. Maybe you love to go dancing, whatever. Like I like to go like to bachata class or salsa class with my girlfriend, right? Or maybe you like to go for steak dinners or smoke cigars or drive motorcycles, whatever it is that you like to do. Play badminton. I don't care, bro. Whatever you love to do in your free time, right? If you have the ability to do your hobbies and to pursue your passions, right? If you want to become an athlete, if you want to become a freelancer or build some sort of product or business, just because you have the ability to do that, you're blessed, bro. And you don't have to panic. Like, take it easy. It's okay, right? You have, like, I know that we're not here unlimited time, and I know that we can be gone tomorrow, but there's no need to be living in stress and overwhelm. There's no need. And I used to think like, oh my God, I need to work hard. I need to like retire my mom. I need to buy her a house and all that kind of stuff, right? And or I would think like, no, I need to like make tens of thousands so I can provide for my wife and kids and stuff like this. And man, my perspective is so different when I look at that now. And I'm still working very, very hard, and I still have the goal to, retire my mom and give her everything that she needs, of course, right? But I do realize that the most important thing is not the things that I give her. The most important thing is what I could be in her life, right? Because I don't think it matters much if you give your mom a house, or if you retire your mom, if you never call, she never hears you, or if you never take the time to listen to her complain or whatever it is. I think these types of moments where you just take the time, you go by your house, have dinner together, all these small little things, I think they matter a lot more than the material things that you give. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't know, right? Put it in the comments, but that is personally what I believe. I think in the long scheme of things, your parents are not going to look bad on their deathbed and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy my son bought me this 4 million penthouse in Punta Cana or whatever. Like, no, I don't think it's gonna be like that. It's way more likely to be like, oh, I'm so happy that my son, even though he was working very, very hard to provide for the family, he still took the time to come sit with me and have dinner and listen to every single one of my complaints and stuff like this, right? I think those moments are a lot more important. And even when it comes to like providing for your wife and kids, if you think that you need to be making 10, 20K to have a wife and kids, then to be honest with you, like, you're kind of delusional. That would be throwing shade on like 99% of the families out there, right? There's people out there that make a very, very humble living, and they raise absolutely amazing and beautiful children, right? And they have happy families. You don't like it's such a it's good to want to and work to give a very good life to, your wife and children. 100%, 100%, right? But don't make this your god, right? Don't make this the entire center of your life, your entire purpose. No, that's not the goal, right? That's not the goal. To be able to live, like, provide to material things. And you may be like, oh yeah, but it's all about the opportunities. I want to give the opportunities, etc., etc. And even I think that's cope, dude. Opportunities are always there for those that look for it. It's not about having money, right? At least not for the most part. If you can just, like I said, if you provide the basics, you have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, you have a loving family, and you have basic stuff like you can bring them to soccer practice, you can your wife can like go I don't know, man, shop some new clothes, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be insane. You don't have to like go on a I don't know, 5-star vacation to the Caribbean every single month or whatever. Or you don't need to like go fly on private jets and stuff like this. If you think that is what it takes to be able to retain a wife and have a happy family, then I'm very, very sorry that you believe that, because it's not true. And I've seen it with my own eyes. Very, very, very beautiful and good families from very, very humble earnings, right? So that's all bullshit. I think most of the complication, most of the overwhelm comes from, looking at our parents from an outside and stupid perspective, right? We're children for a big part of our lives, after all. And we just look at that and we make our assumptions, right? But I think it's a good thing to realize when you get older that it's actually not that complex, that you don't have to like stress yourself out of your mind. You don't need to completely wreck yourself in order to have a good life, let's say. Because I think a lot of people also overcomplicate like chasing their own path. Because like I said, I think it doesn't really matter what you do if you're able to make a honest living, and you have the basics figured out, you're able to provide not anything crazy, but just like a good stable living. I think a lot of people overcomplicate when they're not happy within that context. So for example, imagine bro, like there's so many people that like complain about their work, complain about their boss or whatever. And to a degree, I do understand, right? Of course, like I'm not completely delusional, but to a degree, I'm also like, if you do not like it, then just leave, right? Why do you stay? Why aren't you looking for, alternatives? It's not because you took one job, you took one opportunity, that there's not other 10, 20 other opportunities out there, right? Especially if you're a smart, hardworking guy. There's so many opportunities out there for you, but you're just not looking. You're not taking them. So if this is you and you're stuck in a job that you don't enjoy or whatever, and I don't know, maybe you want to start freelancing, make money online, stuff like this. Now, I do have a video where I talk about why I don't recommend you should quit your job to become an online entrepreneur cold turkey like that. There's a process that you can go through that's a lot more comfortable. But if you don't like the current job that you're doing, then change it, right? Oh, but this job is like close to my house. Then, well, stop complaining then. I saw a quote once a couple years ago when I was younger, and it's changed the way I look at things. I think it was from Marcus Aurelius or something like this. It was like a Stoic quote, but it was basically like 2 ways to deal with a problem, right? One, you solve it. If you can do something about it, do it, right? 2, if you cannot do anything about it, stop complaining. Because there's literally no use, right? So if you complain about your job, if you complain about your reality, your life, whatever it is, either do something about it or stop complaining if you cannot. If it's something fixed, which often it isn't, very often we can do stuff, but if you genuinely cannot do anything about it, or your circumstance is just like, I'm not in a position to change things right now, then stop complaining. Start changing your mind. Start looking at it differently, because it's the only thing that you can do. And there's a lot of people right nowadays that are like complaining how, I don't know, the workers are slaves and we're like stuck in a rat race and stuff like that, and modern slavery. And to a degree, I understand where they're coming from, right? But, on the other hand, I do think that this is self-inflicted. We may pretend like, oh, it's a rat race, they're controlling us. But to be honest with you, we have all the freedom. We have all the ability to do whatever we want. It's just up to you to go and take it. Or like I said, if you want a different job, you are able to get a different job if you work hard. End of the day, it's always our own choices that bring us in the position that we are at. And until you can realize that and take responsibility over that, your reality will never change. Because in that case, you are giving power to whoever it is that you're pointing to, the government, your boss, I don't know, man, whoever it is, your teachers in school, maybe your professors, I don't know. Until you can point at yourself and take responsibility, you cannot do anything about it. Until you're like, I did it. I made the wrong decisions. I am choosing to stay here in a situation that I don't want to be in. It's my fault. Now I'm going to do a different thing, right? Now you could do something. Anyhow, the main point of this video that I wanted to make is just that life is not that complicated as we often feel like it is. You have all the power in your hands, and especially if you have your basics figured out, then there is no need to feel stressed. There's no need to feel overwhelmed. You're doing good. And if you take care of your family, if you give them all love that you have, then you're living a blessed life, brother. And if you're able to, on the side, follow your passions, do your hobbies and all that kind of stuff, you're blessed, brother. I don't know. That's at least how I look at it, right? And yes, you should still work hard. You should still be ambitious. You should still chase your goals 100%, 1000%. You should do that. I'm doing that too, right? I'm not just, I don't know, laying back, giving up or something. Like, no, you still work hard, but you have to realize like what a blessed position that you're in, and be grateful, and honestly enjoy that, right? Enjoy the fact that you have a roof over your head. Enjoy the fact that you have food on the table. Enjoy the fact that you have a warm bed to sleep in. Enjoy the fact that you have a wife or girlfriend or children, or maybe you're in love and you want to make someone your wife or make someone your girlfriend, right? Those are all blessings. Cherish those, appreciate those, and at the same time work hard and chase your goals, right? That's the main message of this video. And if you want to chase those goals together with me, then you can do that in the link in the description. There's a community there where I teach everything about how I got my first clients as a freelancer, how I made my first $10,000 and moved to Thailand. And yeah, there basically I break down my process and how I did it. as well as some very, very important accountability systems. So if you're interested in pursuing that path, then you can check that out. There's also a free Telegram group that you can join where I often share lessons and insights that I get throughout the day and week. So you can check that out as well if you want. But other than that, man, I appreciate you. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a like, make sure to give it a sub. If this is something that resonates with you, if you're on a similar path that I am at, if you have similar values as me, subscribe. I would appreciate that. But either way, man, just want you to realize life is not that complicated, right? Don't forget that. Peace.